Welcome back to my haunted library. It's Regina. Today I'm continuing with the discussion of Robert McKee's story. I'm on Chapter 5, Structure and Character. Now, if you're following this thread, make sure you check out the Goodreads link below, which is a thread dedicated to discussing this book, and particularly for helping writers of fiction, not just screenplays. So, structure and character. This is a really good chapter about kind of banishing the myth between character-driven stories and plot-driven stories. And he makes the point that they're one and the same, that the character and the story structure are really one. So he also makes the point between character and characterization, character being a deep development, where characterization is more like a surface. Oh, what is this guy wearing? What are his, does he stutter? What cologne does he wear? Whatever. That the character, the deep work is in the contradictions of a character, which is what makes them human, because we're all very contradictory people. So he makes the point that as a writer, what you should try to do, and I think it's true, it's easier said than done, is to set up a character like your main character as one way, perhaps, but what you reveal about them is completely different or surprising in some way. So that's intertwined with the events of the story. Things are going to be revealed about this character that maybe they don't even know about themselves. He makes the point of always be applying pressure to your protagonist, so these events come out of not only of what happens in the story, but they're really coming out of the characters' choices and their responses to things. And I think that's important. I remember when I was in a screenplay class a couple years ago, and my teacher was really good, and she kept writing on my script, pressure, more pressure, more pressure, more pressure. So you constantly want to be, in some respects, like beating up your protagonist, either from an outside influence or an internal conflict or whatever it is, and then that really has to build to the big show at the end, which is the climactic showdown.
That's not a movie. You gotta go back, put in the drama.
I can't go back. I've got pages of false starts, wrong approaches. I'm way past my deadline.
Tell you a secret. The last time makes a film. Wow them in the end. You got hit. You can have flaws, problems, but wow them in the end. And you've got a hit. Find an ending. But don't cheat. And don't you dare bring in a Deus Ex Machina. Your characters must change. And the change must come from them. Do that, and you'll be fine.
You promise? Mr. McKee.
And if you don't know that film, definitely read it as a companion, or watch it as a companion piece to this book, because it's great. So let's see what he has to say here. True character is revealed in the choices a human being makes under pressure. So there's that word, pressure. The greater the pressure, the deeper the revelation, the truer the choice to the character's essential nature. So you're finding out about your, like you're mining your character's nature through this pressure that they're under. So he says, character revelation. What seems is not what is. Well, like I'm thinking, a great movie, Ordinary People, is a great example of that, where Donald Sutherland and Mary Tyler Moore are this like perfect family, perfect suburban upper middle class family, but as the pressure is on them because of what happens, where their one son dies and the other one is having like a nervous breakdown, that pressure brings out who they really are. And you see that Mary Tyler Moore's character, for all of her perfection, is really this kind of cold monster, and Donald Sutherland finds his his character finds his goodness and is able to kind of rise to the occasion and be the father that he needs to be to support his son. So that's just an example that came to mind. Character arc. We hear this a lot in our writing courses, and our study is about what is character arc. Taking the principle further yet, the finest writing not only reveals true character, but arcs or changes that inner nature, for better or worse, over the course of the telling. So the character arc is about change. Point A to point B. How do they change? Do they grow up? Do they become corrupted? Do they become destroyed? Do they find salvation? Do they lose everything but find their soul? Whatever it is, and the more intense, the better. Because you're dealing with intense emotions. Even if it's like a quiet story, the pressure and the intensity, it really should be there, especially building up to the climax. So he makes the point, again, structure and character functions. The function of structure is to provide progressively building pressures that force characters into more and more difficult dilemmas, where they must make more and more difficult, risk-taking choices and actions, gradually revealing their true natures, even down to the unconscious self. So then he writes about climax and character. A revered Hollywood axiom warns, movies are about their last 20 minutes. In other words, for a film to have a chance in the world, the last act and its climax must be the most satisfying experience of all. For no matter what the first 90 minutes have achieved, if the final movement fails, the film will die over the opening weekend. Think about a great story like My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier, how great that climax is, where you're with Philip the whole way and you believe that Rachel is this monster, and then he finds the letter and he realizes, oh no, I'm the monster. The whole time, through the revelations and through his pressure, it's all been there in the text. But it's not till that moment that it all kind of swoops in and the character understands it, and more importantly, the reader understands it, and then he tries to undo what he's already done, and it's too late. So that just comes to mind as like a great climax, and that's why that book is so satisfying. Anyway, more food for thought with this book, slowly getting through it. Next week, we are going into structure and meaning, so I'm looking forward to that. So keep reading your McKee. Let me know what you think, and thanks for stopping in my haunted library, and I will see you soon. Bye.